Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Bree. This is my YouTube channel. I say welcome back because some of you may remember my previous YouTube channel, which was Breevy. I managed to entirely delete the account. Thank you, YouTube. It was my fault, but I'm gonna blame YouTube. And yeah, we're back. I had a bunch of people ask and request if I did YouTube videos, and so they could see kind of my process and what I do with drawing. It's a lot of undo buttons, as you can see. Undo is my best friend. I'm gonna shrink that just a little bit. But yeah, I figured I would get back into it. And how, you may ask, does a person delete an entire YouTube channel? Well, I possess grand powers of not reading the multiple warnings that YouTube tried to give me, of saying, hey, if you change your email address, if you try to change it, we may just delete your videos that are tied to the previous one. Did I pay attention? No, that would be silly. That would be silly indeed if I, a grown adult with responsibilities of my own, did not take the time to read and understand these warnings. But I digress. So yeah, we're back at it. I wanted to design a few OCs. I feel like a lot of people I know, a lot of people I follow have a bunch of OCs, and I have two that I draw infrequently, so I wanted to give it a go. And I figured what better time to start a new OC than live on camera. It's not live, you guys will see this recording eventually, but you get my idea. Oh, those fingers look terrible. I have discovered that if you bend the fingernails, or the fingernails, my gosh, please don't bend your fingernails. If you bend the fingers, it tends to make the fingers look much more natural. I think I'm going to shrink her just a little bit because I think I want to give her like really fluffy hair. Like really pretty, really fluffy. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to name her. So I would love and appreciate it if you guys would leave me name suggestions in the comments below. I was thinking Poppy at the beginning of this video, but I'm not sure. So let me know if you guys like Poppy, if it should be something different, what we should do. Okay. So now that my sketch layer is basically down, I'll go to another layer. I'm going to actually drop the opacity of that layer, and then I'm going to draw directly on top of it. What I typically do is I'll have red as my most basic sketch layer. That way it kind of pops through and I can see it pretty clearly. Then I'll go on top of it and I'll do blue. I think I saw an animator do this like years and years ago, and so I just always assumed that that's what artists did. And I feel like I'm the only one that actually does that besides animators. I think they do it more for like cleaning up the lines and everything to see who does what. But you know what? I like this style. I like the way that I do it. There's nothing wrong with the way I do it. So I'm just going to keep doing it this way. Oh, her hair's so pretty and fluffy. Ooh, should we put a brat in it? Maybe like a little bee or something? She got a little bee in her hair? Should I would a face? Would a face like that? Little stripe. Oh, that's really cute. I like that. I feel like the brat's not actually going to do anything up there, but it looks really cute and I like it. Hands have always been one of those things that's like, you're either in a drawing, the hands are either good or they're terrible. There is like no mediocre drawing of hands. And there was a time where I just avoided drawing hands, so I did the stereotypical thing of like, you know, their hands are always in their pockets or their hands are always behind their back, just to avoid drawing the hands. But they're really not that scary anymore once you understand the basic shapes of the hand. As long as you understand like how the hand bends, where the fingers go. Speaking of which, her hand looks really tiny actually. I think that's like way too small. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Is that too big? Might be a little bit too big. I think it's okay though. Maybe shrink it just a touch. I'm actually going to tilt it. Oh, there we go. I like that. I think I like that pretty good. Okay. And that's the great thing about having another sketch layer is you can kind of further play with what you're doing. You can kind of figure out how you want it to sit on the person, on the drawing. Oh, her hair is so pretty and fluffy and curly. I have always had pretty straight hair. Like it would curl if I curled it, but we all know I'm too lazy to do that. Let's see. I think she'll have a striped shirt, maybe? I think that would be cute. That's shoulder big. There we go. Yeah, maybe striped, maybe even a sweater. That's sweater weather. It's sweater weather. Give her eyebrows. I am the world's worst about finishing a drawing and realizing I never gave person eyebrows. It's my blessing to the world is all these people without eyebrows. And highlights. Highlights in the eyes. I like to do that last. It's kind of like a last minute thing. So any tint I've added to the picture, it kind of is still white on top to show the light. But because I do it last, I've often forgotten it and it's great. There, I think that's really cute. I think we're going to go with that. So now what I do is I make this layer invisible because I'm done with the red layer. I drop the opacity of the blue layer now, and again, it's just me. I like to do my line art in purple. It's close to black, but it's not quite black. Just because black is such a harsh color, it makes your line art look a lot more flat, I think. Of course, with this layer, I try to be a little bit more careful about my lines, about how things interact with each other in the picture. Why is it doing that? Well, it's doing that because my hand is doing that, but I don't like it. There we go, that looks better. And back to the hand thing, I would still not say I'm a master at drawing hands, but if you saw my high school, middle school hands, I think you'd be proud of my progress. And even if you weren't, I'm proud of my progress. My hand looks too long almost. Like the fingers are like the palm is too long for the rest of the hand, I think. And again, with another sketch layer, you kind of get to figure these things out. But I think I'm going to bring the sleeve up there. And then we can work around it. Yeah, that looks better, I think. Yeah. And of course it always helps. One thing I like to do, and I haven't done it yet, which is going to be scary, is flipping the image. If you flip the image, you kind of get the sense of balance. Of course, if I flip it, this jawline right here looks really janky. So I'm going to try and see if I can fix that. And again, it's really helpful to do this way before this point in the drawing. Because if you wait too late, then it's kind of hard to undo some of the things that you've done. But other than that, I think most of the picture looks okay. So I'm going to flip it back the way I had it. And again, I should have done that way sooner, but I did not. is so bouncy. And I don't claim to be a master of any of these skills that I'm trying to hopefully show you guys. It's just things that I've picked up on, things that I have found to be helpful, and things that I like to incorporate into my drawings. Somebody asked me the other day why I don't connect both lips, and to me it just looks like such a weird mouth if you try to connect both the top lip and the bottom lip. But I really like the styling of the top lip being connected, so I leave the bottom lip untouched. Not untouched, but unconnected to the two. Oh. Of course, drawing digitally, you learn very quickly to take advantage of making sure all of your lines are connected at all times, because you do want to use the fill tool, and the fill tool will be your best friend only if all the lines are fully connected. I'm not going to worry about the stripes actually on the line layer. We'll color it in later. I always try to take extra care with the eyes, because the eyes are super expressive. You really can feel how a person is, what their emotion is, how they're feeling by how their eyes are. I have no idea who said it, but somebody said that the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And I think that is very, very true. So it's really important just to make sure that the eyes are done correctly and kind of expressing what you want them to express. And now sometimes I'll do the anime thing where you can see the lashes through the hair, but I'm going to try to stop doing that. I don't know. I might end up doing it at the end of this drawing. I still haven't really decided yet. You know what? Screw it. I want it done. It's my drawing. We're gonna do it. I see the eyebrow and the eyelashes through the hair. Why? Because I like it. And you know what? This is not a commission work. Nobody's paying me to do this. I'm doing it because I want to. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, almost forgot the hair clip. Give it a little bitty smile. Oh no, it's terrifying. Let's maybe go with a smaller pen. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, and so now that that is done, what I will do now is I'm going to go down a layer. Create another layer. You guys can't see my layers, but they're over here. I create a new layer, and then I'm going to choose her skin tone right now. Which, let's see. Kind of looks orangish. Let's go away from the orange just a little bit. There, I think that's a pretty good color. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to fill in the entire drawing. Remember what I said about the fill tool? Well, it doesn't really work on this layer, so that's okay. So you may ask, why are you doing it this way? This seems counterproductive to color over things that you don't want to have that everything is not going to have that same color. Why are you coloring over everything? Well, I will show you the glory of clipping layers. Clipping mask, clipping layers, clipped layers. I don't know how you say it. I just know that it's useful. I love it. And it comes in quite handy, especially at the shading process, which we will do last. And I'm not sure if I'll continue a series of drawing her, of creating more OCs, maybe a little bit of both. I had a couple ideas for different things whenever I had my last YouTube channel. I was going through the Animal Crossing characters and turning them into human forms. I could go back to that. I had thought about turning Pokemon into humans. I love Pokemon. Eevee, Sylveon is my favorite. But anyway, if you guys would let me know down in the comments what you would like to see more of, what I should do next in my next video, I would really appreciate it. Ooh. Okay, and so we've got the whole thing filled in. Now what I'm gonna do, let me see if I can actually move the software. Okay, there we go. So now you guys can see over here, I have my different layers. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a layer up here. What does it say? Flip to layer below. So that now only allows me to draw inside of the colored area. It won't go to the white area. It's just in the area that has been colored. The glory of that is I can now worry mostly about, like, say, for example, her hair. I can just start filling it in. I don't have to worry now about all the little detail all around it. The biggest thing this comes in handy for is the shading, which, well, again, the way that I shade. I don't think it's a terribly uncommon way to shade, but I don't know too many artists that do it this way. You know, it'd be easier if I zoomed in on it, but that's lame. Real artists don't use zoom, which is total BS. Of course, artists use zoom. That's one thing that kills me, is whenever an artist says that they don't use such and such tool. There was a big thing whenever I was in school. There was a big debate about, should an artist rotate their canvas? And a bunch of the kids there said, no, don't rotate your canvas, that's cheating. And my professor made the point of, is it cheating to have a way that makes your art look better? If one of my peers did a piece and I did the exact same drawing, for example, say they rotated their canvas and I did not, and their piece turns out better than mine, I mean, who's really the sucker then? I would say that I am the one who is the sucker. Oh, let me move it back so you guys can see. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Move back over here. There we go. I try to make it so you guys can see both at the same time, but I just don't think that's going to be quite possible. One thing I just did there, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, is whenever I was choosing the color of her shirt to try and tie in the colors better, to make it more fluid, to make it softer looking, to make it easier on the eyes, whatever you want to call it. I chose the color of her skin. I just color picked it. And you'll see it's right here in the color square. So now most colors that are going to be around it in the same spot are going to go better with the color I just chose. So it's going to prevent me from choosing, like, for example, a neon color that is going to stand out a whole lot. And again, that just kind of makes the image look more cohesive. That's the word I was looking for, is cohesive. Okay, we're going to go back down to the skin, make another clipping layer, and now I'm going to do blush on her face. I typically use the Airspray tool and just kind of add soft color to it, just to give her some life. I will add some color up here, a little bit down here. Of course, the cheekies. Gotta get blush on the cheekies and her little nose. Some behind the eye. And I typically do some on the fingertips as well as the knuckles. Okay, and of course that's a lot, so we're gonna blend it out just a little bit. I'm actually gonna use blur, I think, instead of the blend tool. The blur just kind of helps it look softer. The blend tool will often make it go too far across the face, I guess. Make it go further than I want it to. And yeah, the blur just kind of softens everything out. So let's see, from there we're going to go ahead and do another layer for the eyes. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the bee. Another layer there between the hair. Let's do blue for the barrette. And again, I'm using the same roll where I'm just kind of following the color wheel around based on it being centered there to kind of just make everything feel a little bit more cohesive. Its usual face, except for the stripe here. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Ooh, no. Yeah, I think the gray looks okay for that. Okay, now we're going to go back to the eyes, like I had said. Create a new layer. I typically will make it a blue, just because the blue is most often the kind of white color that you will think of for eyes. I do fill out everything around here. I'm not going to fill in the area right here that's under the hair. We're going to do that kind of anime style and leave that one empty, just so you can see where her lashes and eyebrows are, not necessarily showing the color in the eyes. Okay, add a new layer. I'm thinking like a really pretty honey color for the eyes. Ooh, that's really pretty. I think we'll go with that. Now we're just going to fill in the pupil part, the iris. Pupil? Pupil's the black part, I think. The iris is the whole thing. That's really pretty. Then I'm going to make a clipping layer for that. I'm going to go just a little bit, go a little bit more saturated, a little bit more down. Add some shading to that, just a little bit. Choose that color again and go the other way, lighter and whiter. And add little highlights down here. Oh no, did I undo that? When did I do that? Okay, so from here, what I will typically like to do is I like to go to blend. I like to go to fingertip, which I don't use very often, but you could do it kind of this way. It gives it a really unique look for the eyes, I think. Okay, and now you can see I need to clean up just a little bit right here and right here. under the eyes. We'll go back down to that layer. Oop. There we go. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That's showing just a little bit of white, so I'm actually going to erase just the white that's under that, I think. There we go. I think that looks pretty good for her eyes. I don't know, I actually might darken that. And merge with the layer below. See if I can just darken it. Or if I darken it, what does it do? Not much. I can multiply and that helps it a little bit, I think. Clean up just a little bit down there. Because whenever you multiply it, it multiplies it with the color that is behind it. So the skin tone is a little bit darker than the white that is the pupil. You know what, we're just not going to go with multiply, I think. You know what, we're just going to leave them the way they are. They're good enough the way they are. She's beautiful. Oh, I forgot to do lips. We're going to come back down here to the lip, to the skin layer. And get some more pink in there. There we go. Okay. And now, unless it's like explicitly showing that it is lipstick, to make it look a little bit more natural, I like to blend out the edge of the lips right here. Just a little bit, just like that. Oh, she's so cute. Of course, we need to color the inside of the mouth. Give it a darker color, add it to the back, and then blend the center out just a little bit. Take that back, we're just going to blur it. There we go. There, and she is looking super cute. I think what I want to do now is I might add shadows to all of this and kind of wrap everything up. So because the eyes are on a separate layer, let me move the screen again so you guys can see my layers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the line art layer, which makes it look horrifying. I'm also going to turn off the background layers. Oh, let me turn off that layer. And the background layer. Okay. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all visible layers and then turn that back on. So now what I have is this layer I can add, then do a clipping mask. So if I want to shade it, it just stays on the layers that I'm wanting to have. So with the line, like the line art, I typically shade in purple. And I'll show you guys why in just a minute. And again, this is just the way that I shade. This isn't necessarily the right or wrong way to shade. As long as you have a basic understanding of where your light is coming from and how it's going to interact with whatever you have on your canvas. That's the most important part. And I actually don't know where I learned to shade in purple. I don't know where I picked that up from, if I just kind of figured that out on my own. So don't quote me on any of that. This is probably not my idea. I'm not quite that clever. I wish I was. I'd probably be able to make a lot more money if I was. And yes, I could use the fill tool, but I just feel like it's easier just to go ahead and color it in. could give her makeup, but I don't think I'll do it this time. And the great thing about art is it's never done until you say it's done. I could post this video, I could forget about her for weeks, not come back to this drawing at all, and then months later I come back to it and decide to do something else on it. And that's still okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going back and touching up art, changing art, as long as it's yours, as long as you have rights to do so. Don't try to copy somebody else's work and then change it and say it's yours. It's still cheating. It's still copyright infringement, it's still intellectual property infringement, but I'm not going to go into all that. That's not what this video is about. This video is about relaxing, drawing with me, and just having fun creating a new character. Her hand's going to create a little bit of a shadow on her head, I think, right there. Oh, and then I guess I gotta shade her hair here too. I'm trying not to forget about textures too. So for example, her hair here has a texture, but her skin does not so much. So whenever the shadow hits the skin here, it's gonna create a softer shadow than this shape is. I hope that made sense. It made sense in my head. But like if I'm shading over here on her hair has a little bit more texture, so I can follow the hairline a little bit more closely when creating that shadow. A little bit of shading here. I think it'd be the other way, based on the way I have other shadows hitting everything. And again, this right here has a smooth shape, but her hair has texture, so I'm going to start adding a little bit of texture in the shadow there. Just again, being mindful of the way shadows interact with each other and the way light interacts with the objects that it hits. Okay, we're just about done. So what I want to do now, I want to center it if I can. Okay, so now that we have this shadow layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit multiply. It looks really creepy. But whenever you turn the opacity down on it, you have a much more natural looking kind of shadows falling on your piece. I think I'm going to add just a few more lines here to show that the hair is kind of pulled apart. Like that. And then yeah, the only thing I'm going to add now is I'm going to add on top of the line art layer, I'm going to go to pure white, and we're going to add little highlights in her eyes. I always like to give two just because that seems to be the way most highlights hit eyes that I've seen. And the last thing is be sure that the highlight and the eye is opposite the side that you're shading the most. So I shaded the left side of this image the most, so I'm going to put my biggest highlight on the right side over here. But that is it. I think I really like the way that this one turned out. I might add, let's add a background color real quick. So So her shirt is pink, so let's add like a light blue, maybe? Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. Did it on the wrong layer. There we go. It's so much less terrifying. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think I should name her down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try to start updating more regularly and start creating more videos. And let me know what kind of videos you guys would want to see and what you would like to watch. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great night. Bye!